vision of the World of Healing podcast is to discover, celebrate, and reveal different types of healing techniques, systems, and philosophies. Through exploring and honoring these different practices of healing beliefs from around the world, listeners will be able to learn more about their different cultures and be exposed to ideas that they may have not heard before. Our vision is to try to expand the audience's mind about what is possible in the world of healing, while at the same time helping people realize that we are more similar than we are different. This is the World of Healing podcast with Dr. Vanda Corbett. On today's show, we welcome Marina Taute, a hypnotherapist from South Africa who specializes in trauma. Welcome to episode 2 of The World of Healing. I'm Dr. Vanda Corbett, and I'm here today with Marina, who is a hypnotherapist. So today she's going to talk about all the world of hypnotherapy. So tell us about yourself, how you got started.
Hi Vanda, thank you for having me on your podcast.
I've been wanting to get her on. It's very exciting.
All right, the life of hypnotherapist is quite an interesting life. What do you want to know first? How I started?
How did you get into it? Or tell us about yourself, where you're from.
All right.
I'm
from South Africa. I've been living in Dubai for 19 years, which is quite a long time. I saw it from the beginning, but it's an exciting place to stay. And I always say Dubai is what you make of it.
Very true.
You can have fun or you can be miserable. Yeah. I choose to have fun in Dubai, so that's my point. I grew up in South Africa, and my husband's an air traffic controller, so we decided to move to Dubai in 2000 on April Fool's Day. Very, very fitting day. I arrived in Dubai and been in sales all my life, and loved the nutritional side of life and health. My son was diagnosed with cancer when he was a baby.
Oh, wow.
And that got me onto the path of how can a baby have cancer.
Yeah.
And I started looking into nutrition, did a few diplomas in nutrition, and really started getting into good health for my family, because I understood that it lies with me, the mother.
Yeah, so you're kind of the one in control. Right?
Yes, you control the food, you control the groceries. So I got into that from, what it is, more than 22 years.
Yeah.
And I just got pulled in more and more and more, and enjoyed the field really a lot. For me, the start to hypnotherapy wasn't a natural one. I started as a life coach. I said I wanted to go and do a life coaching course.
Yeah.
I had quite a few issues happen to me in my life, and I could never get resolutions about that issues in my life, and searched to work through my trauma and everything. And finally, when I went on the life coaching course, the lady says to me she does hypnosis, and I'm like, I grew up very conservative. I was like, oh, hypnosis, I don't know if it's for me.
You kind of like look at the clock.
Look at the clock, yes. And I'm like, no, stay away. I don't think I can do this.
Right.
And she explained to me that hypnosis is a natural state that you're in it every day, when you just wake up in the morning and just before you fall asleep at night. And I thought, well, then I can go for it. And on the course, this wonderful lady that did the course actually helped me to work through all the trauma that happened to me as a child. And because I'm an analytical mind, everything I ever didn't stick. I mean, I even did a Tony Robbins course in Germany, ended up on stage with him. He worked with me. But maybe 6 months to a year later, I felt a regression again. I felt that, all the emotions came back and all the memories came back. So it didn't feel like it stuck.
It was just kind of like a Band-Aid, not a permanent fix.
It felt like I didn't change the route. And with hypnosis, truly handled everything in my course. And it was like I had my innocence back, I had my life back. And for me to have that back was a very, very powerful experience. And it was a calling to me that there's so many people out there that try every modality and they can't get something to work for them.
Yeah.
And I said, well, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to use what happened to me and the methods that I use to get over it, to change people's lives.
Amazing.
And for me, that's been a calling. It's happened in 2005, and I never look back.
Well,
the mind fascinates me. Everything about the mind and the way we think, it just fascinates me. I love
amazing.
it. Yeah.
So what type of people do you work with hypnotherapy? Like, what do you do?
I do stop smoking. It's not my favorite.
I think that's what everybody thinks of right now with hypnotherapy.
Yeah, if you hear hypnosis, you think about stop smoking,
Yeah.
but there are so many issues in our lives that influence us. My favorite thing that I like to work with is trauma,
Okay.
because that's what worked for me.
Right, of course. We always work with things that we're more familiar with, right?
This is the thing, you know,
yeah.
I went to psychiatrist, psychologist, everybody, and it's like nobody could pinpoint it because the challenge is within you and your unconscious mind.
Yeah.
And I think the moment when I made the calculation that 90% of who you are being run by your unconscious mind, it's like, ding, a bell went off. So if you can change it with the unconscious mind, it's like going into the operating system, finding the virus,
Right.
taking the virus out, and it's like the whole problem just disappears.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting with my work with positive psychology, a lot of times, how should I put this? I always tell people that you can control your reaction. You can't control what people do to you, but you can control how you react.
Yes.
But yet, if you have, as you put it, like a virus, or not necessarily an actual virus, but like a trauma or a past event, which is controlling your entire life, from there on, it just, if you can like kind of rewrite that in the hard drive of your mind.
This is the thing,
Yeah,
you know,
it just
and
changes
it's
the way.
always hard to try and tell people where I come from unless they know, you know, what my history is.
Right.
So if it's okay with you, I
If you
will
want to
them.
talk about it, you're more than welcome.
I was molested as a child, and that had a big ripple effect on my life. Weight-wise, self-confidence-wise, guilt, everything that goes with it. And then I was raped when I was 20 years old, and I was pregnant from a rape.
Oh my God.
And in South Africa in those days, you couldn't get an abortion, and I felt that a child should be born out of love, not from a rape. So I had to fight through the South African legal system to get an abortion approved. And since I can remember from a little girl, I always wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
If you asked me what I wanted to be, I said a mom. And it was hard for me that wasn't in my cards with this pregnancy, but I knew that a child should have been born out of love. So to go through the abortion, it broke my spirit.
Yeah.
And then to search for solutions, how to get your innocence back, and to try and remember who that little girl that was born, who she is and what she stood for, never worked for me. And through the hypnosis process, Trudy did age regression with me, where she took me back to that child. And I figured out that a lot of me got stuck as that 4 to 6 year old girl.
Right.
And you have the perceptions of that girl. Mm-hmm. And you, at that age, I was like 34, 35 when I resolved it. And I was still making decisions in my life with that 4 year to 6 year old's decisions that she made at that time, because your perception gets stuck in that moment. It's always that little girl that's feeling insecure, that feels that, you know, guilt and all those things. I'm never good enough.
Yeah.
And by resolving that issues, I could change the operating system, I could change the perception, and I could really find myself again.
Yeah.
And for me, this is what I do with my clients. When somebody walks in, it's like I can have the foresight to not see the person that walks in. I can see the person that's going to walk out. I try and work. I try and work 3 to 4 sessions. I believe that you don't need to go to a therapist 9, 10, 12, 15 times.
Or for years.
Yeah. it's like going into the dentist saying, I've got a toothache.
Yeah.
But you don't get your tooth pulled.
You just
and every time you go back and you say, I still have the same toothache. But it's better to actually pull the tooth out and heal yourself. Yeah. And it's hard to go through that. It's hard to face everything and to work through it. But I can guarantee you the relief and the joy that you have on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, it's all worth it.
Well, thank you for speaking your truth today. I know it's not easy. I mean, I know so many females have gone through sexual trauma, and you know, the shame and the guilt and the years of depression that can actually go with that, even though you can be an amazing adapted person. But and it's such a hot topic right now with what's happening, you know, in the States and all that kind of stuff around the world. So thank you for speaking about it, because I think a lot of times because we feel shame and guilt, we don't feel free to talk about it and our experiences and what we've discovered. And really the only way we can break that down is to realize that we've all been there.
We've all been there.
Yeah,
and
we've gone through
the main thing is, by telling your story, you don't realize how many people's lives you change.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times I have not told my story, and you hear this little voice in the back of your head saying, tell your story. And the moment when you do, you start realizing how people can then identify with you and how they feel. But if you can overcome that, then I can overcome mine.
Absolutely. And you're not alone.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
So yes, I do stress, I do anxiety, I do fears and phobias, I do smoking, I do all those. But I enjoy working with trauma. I love seeing a person walk into my office and feel like the whole world is on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And then to see them 3 sessions later and their whole life has changed.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like an
I got
onion.
goosebumps. I got goosebumps.
It's like an onion. You peel away at the layers and then you get to the sweetest, purest part of yourself on the inside.
You know, it's funny that I say something very similar, but I actually got this from Dr. Ted Korn, is it's like an artichoke. So
That's
you
a good
peel
one.
away the layers and then you get to the heart.
The
in
heart.
middle.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I need to remember that
There's lots of different ones. We're all vegetables, apparently. Or is onion a fruit? Right, no, it's a vegetable. It's a vegetable, yeah. We went to recently an organic farm and we were learning about all the different things that I, for my whole life, thought were vegetables, but apparently
Apparently not. They're fruits.
Yeah, who knew?
Yeah. I figured that one out as well when I was studying.
Yeah. So I actually had I know you said trauma, but I actually had a question today. Do you work with fear of flying?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I work with fear of flying because somewhere, the mind is a powerful thing and it will do anything to protect you.
Right.
I actually had one extremely interesting client. She came in to me feeling that her life was falling apart and we started working. It was so fascinating, and you never know where the unconscious mind actually takes you.
Yeah.
And in the end of the day, she was hiding in a forest while her mom and her grandma was having a fight about her weight. And she was standing behind the tree looking at the farmhouse where they were actually having an argument. And she said and she prayed to be invisible. And she weighs 170 kilograms today.
Right. So
the mind...
She made herself invisible.
She made herself invisible.
Yeah.
The mind will do anything it can to protect you. So if you have an event that there's turbulence on the flight and you think, I'm not going to fly again. I'm not going to fly again, this is it.
Yeah.
The mind actually listens. So whatever you verbally or subconsciously iterate to yourself,
Absolutely.
the mind listens and then it says, okay, I'll protect you. So next time when you want to fly, you either get diarrhea or something happens or you're late for your flight.
Yeah.
This is your mind's way to protect you.
Yeah. Just like, don't get on that flight.
Don't get on that flight. So yes, it's just to go and see what's that virus that was inserted,
Right.
and to take it out.
Okay.
I just can't believe that not everybody goes for hypnotherapy because it's such an integral part of yourself. Is it your conscious or your unconscious mind that controls your breathing? It's the unconscious mind.
Autonomic nervous
What
system.
controls your heartbeat? It's the
Autonomic nervous
unconscious.
system. Yeah, absolutely.
While you're driving, and sometimes you just nose away, and then you think, was that traffic light green? I can't remember. That's your unconscious mind.
When you get home and you don't remember how you got
You
there.
don't remember the route. That's your unconscious mind taking over, and it knows what's best for you. So the fact that not a lot more people go into their operating system and go and clean it out and get the viruses clean.
Defrag their hard
Do
drive.
not understand it. They think I'm actually going to make them do stuff that they don't want to do.
Look into my eyes.
Look into If I want somebody to leave me alone, I just tell them I'm a hypnotherapist, and they're like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Look in my eyes." And like, okay.
Do you get like the snake charmer that comes out and like?
True.
Yeah.
And it's not like that at all.
So how like if you can talk about it?
If I can talk about
proprietary
it.
information.
No,
But how do you put somebody under hypnosis? Because I know a lot of people are very interested, but they're a little bit like.
A little bit. Yeah. So what I do is I first relax the body.
Okay.
So I have you like a guided meditation. I have you visualize certain parts of your body. Take it usually from the top down, and I have a white light to just help you relax certain muscles, certain areas of your body.
Okay.
And when I feel that you're totally relaxed, I have you go down some stairs, which is a deepening technique. And then from there on, I either have you walk in a beautiful forest, beautiful garden, and my favorite place, a beautiful beach, white sand.
Also my favorite place. If anybody who knows me knows my favorite place is a beach.
What's very important here is to figure out if your client before the time. My intake form is nearly an hour. So I get to know you extremely well.
Yeah.
So I need to know, are you a visual, are you auditory, kinesthetic, or digital? So whatever makes you tick.
Yeah.
Do you see the beach, or do you feel the sand under your feet? Because if you're a kinesthetic person and I tell you you can see the sunset, you're like, la 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 la, I'm going to lose you.
Okay.
So then I will use the fact that you can feel the sand between your toes.
Right.
And as you stand with your feet in the waves, you can actually feel the waves touching you. Yes. So I use all your senses to help you to relax to that point.
Yeah.
And then I go through to somnambulism, where I have you so relaxed, and then on the other side we basically work. The other side, if I talk about that, I always joke and say you've got a little angel on the one shoulder and a little devil on the other shoulder.
I wonder which shoulders.
We don't have that. we don't have voices. Listen, we all have voices.
Everybody
has
talks
that
to themselves.
Yep, but you can control that voices.
Yeah.
So that's your critical voice. The one
Yeah.
says, yes, do it, and the other one says, no, don't do it. So that is your critical factor. So with hypnosis, what we do is we quiet that analytical mind.
Yeah.
And I work with the subconscious mind. I work with the feeling part of you, the true essence of you.
Oh, amazing.
And once you've experienced that true essence of you, it's like the connection is back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you know where to recharge, and you know who you were meant to be. Because if we want to accept it or not, we get born perfectly.
Yes. Yeah.
And then by the age of 3,
And life just messes us up.
by the age of 3, Mama said, don't do that, don't do that. Be
Yeah.
careful of that.
Yeah, we become like a product of the MFTPs, our mother, fathers, teachers, and teachers.
That's a good
so,
one.
Yeah, so that's what we like. We just take that all in, and we
Yeah.
start regurgitating their stuff that they never worked through.
Yes.
And then because that's or
You lose your
people in-
connection.
Exactly.
You lose your connection to your true voice, and you lose the connection to your true self.
Yeah.
And then later on, we start searching for things in our lives because we don't know what we're searching for, and it's actually that true voice that makes you unique.
Yeah, your true inner innate self.
Yeah, and my true self is joy. I believe people have to get their joy back.
Mm-hmm.
We've all lost touch with our joy. Life is so busy. There's so much things demanding, parentship, marriage, our careers, that we lose our joy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I believe that is my function, to help people to get their joy back.
That should be your tagline.
It is. It is.
Is it?
My
Get your joy back.
My company's name is Life of Bliss.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah, you got to get your bliss back.
Yeah, find the blissology.
And when a client walks into my office, the first thing I tell them is you need to do something silly every day.
Okay.
Dance in the shower, sing in the shower, do something silly
Yeah.
for that inner child within you.
That just makes you laugh, like
Makes
belly
you
laugh.
laugh,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, laughter is so healing in itself.
It is healing. I mean, we tend to not laugh enough.
It's true.
And when you start laughing and you start crying, then you know you've got all this emotions that actually needs to come up.
It's just like you laugh so hard that your stomach like physically hurts.
Oh, hurts.
It's the best.
It is the
Better
best.
than jogging.
It is. And it's better than planking.
Also true. Though my personal trainer would not want to hear that.
Yeah, no, she won't agree, I'm guessing.
So what is I'm sure you've already covered this, but what is like your favorite thing like about your career? Like why you do what you do?
I think it's people think that when you're a therapist, it is taxing on you. Yes, it is sometimes. It is taxing because you get the clients that do not want to let go.
Right.
It's like they've got this control bar and they need to control every aspect of their lives. And you can't. And the moment when you realize that, if you just trust the process, your life would be free. But what I enjoy most is to get the clients that actually let go.
Yeah.
I had a cancer patient that came to see me. It's her 3rd time around for cancer.
Oh wow.
And it was such an amazing process to work with her because she's got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I guess if you're third
Yes.
round. Yeah.
And she would easily go into past lives. She would look for answers. She will search for answers. She would work with her higher self, and that is fascinating.
Yeah.
And it's like my whole body is buzzing after a session like that because you can feel the energy. You can feel the frequencies picking up, and that is fascinating because it's such an open field that I learn every day from my clients.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for the next session to see where are we going now, what are we going to do,
Yeah.
and then sometimes I just smile and say, more of those clients.
Isn't that the truth? I know. I mean, it's so true when you resonate with somebody, when you have that same
Yes.
energy, and when energy and energy come together, you get
Yes.
a synergy. I mean, it just
Yeah.
it's palpable. You can even
Yeah.
feel it. That's why I love hanging out with you because you always just have this like amazing energy about you. You just kind of bring up the.
Trust me,
energy
honey,
in your-
I used to be a control freak.
Okay,
I
see?
used to hold on so tight. I still
White
have-
knuckle?
Yeah, I had to control. I had a backup plan for a backup plan in my
Oh
life.
wow, that's pretty good.
Yes.
I'm usually Plan B or Plan C, not
I-
Plan F or.
And I think it also depends on the trauma in my life because somewhere my subconscious mind made the decision that I would look out for myself. This will never happen to me again.
Right.
So somewhere I decided to protect myself.
Yeah.
And with that came in the backup plans. And what's so interesting is I've got two beautiful boys. One is 24 and 21.
Amazing.
Even the boys have got backup plans for backup plans. So now
They learned that from you.
I'm trying to unteach them what I taught them.
Yeah, like remember when I said, forget about
Forget
that.
about that.
Mommy was wrong.
Yeah, hindsight is fantastic
Oh, that's
because you
amazing.
can see all the mistakes. And my one son actually came to visit me a week ago, and I said to him, you need to do some self-hypnosis sessions because there's quite a few times where I didn't do the right job. So you need to rectify it and go in. Everybody should go in and actually look at their timeline in their life and see, where are certain things not the way it should be.
Absolutely.
Life should be joy.
Yeah.
If you don't have joy, then something's wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Sometimes
sometimes, I mean, we go through peaks and
do.
valleys and all
Up
that
and
stuff. But without the valleys, the peaks aren't as beautiful.
You've got to have contrast.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't have light without darkness.
Yeah, exactly. You have to go through it, you know.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is when people, they think that they can't have too much anguish, but then
Yeah.
you'll never have joy, And
It
but
is.
the thing is that nothing really lasts forever. You just have to
No.
realize that whatever the moment you're going through, just still enjoy it.
Still
It's the
enjoy
beauty
it.
of life.
And what I find is that people think that they need to keep on repeating the story. That this is the cards that I've been dealt with, and this is what I need to settle with. And I'm here to tell you today, you don't. You don't need to live with that.
Listen to her.
You don't. You can really work through any trauma that you've had. You can work through stress. You can work through that fear of flight.
Yeah.
It's everything. It's got a trigger. It's either in a past life. It's either in this life. Somewhere your mind decided that it needed to change something to protect you.
Yeah.
So don't walk around with that hang-ups. Get them sorted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. People are always like, you can write a new chapter in your life.
Yes, you can.
Why can't you write a new book? A completely new book.
Yeah.
Just new story, new topic, new everything.
This is the thing, if you don't enjoy your life where it is now, guess what? You've got the power to change it.
Absolutely.
If you have that negative voice every day telling you, I hate my life, I hate it here, I don't like it here, you get addicted to that negative emotions. You get addicted to that negative, let's call it cocktail in your body with your
Absolutely.
hormones and everything.
Yeah, it releases endorphins, you
This-
feel it,
yeah.
you get addicted to it.
And the longer you stay in that, the harder the
harder
change
it
is.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you that yes, you can change it in one session. If you want to change, you can change it in one session. I had a client come to me and he said to me he wanted to stop smoking. And I said to him, are you Humpty Dumpty on the wall? And he's like, what do you mean? I said to him that it's one thing to say you want to change. It's a different thing to say, I am changing.
Right.
So if you are ready so that I can push you off the wall, you can stop smoking now. But if you're not ready,
Yeah.
get ready and then come and see me. Because you've got to be ready for change.
Well, I am seeing you on Wednesday.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'll let you know how it goes.
I'm going to play around in Vanda's mind.
There's lots of stuff in there. It's a labyrinth. It's cool. Yeah.
Well, Vanda, you've got joy shining all out of you. So that means there's not a lot of things you haven't sorted.
We'll find out on Wednesday. Yeah. Is there any other final words you want to tell people out there in the world of healing?
You know what? I want people to realize, we talked about the little voice that you've got in your mind. I want people to understand that they've got different ego states. If I look at you, I can see the little girl. I can see the teenager. I can see the student.
Yeah.
I can see the sister or the daughter. And it's all the different ego states that's got different vulnerabilities to it. And I just want to tell people that remember, you've got the power to call the ego states into a board meeting and decide who's present. So if things are not going your way, call a board meeting and tell the little girl to sit in the corner so that let the adults speak. So if you can figure that out, it's easy to decide to stop smoking or to change that habit of eating too much or subconscious eating, because you can understand which ego state is making that mistake. And it is okay to understand that you've got voices. All of us have got that voices.
Not just crazy people talking to
No,
themselves.
no. And it's to understand that voice and to hear where that negative voice is coming from and who is that ego state that is dictating it to you. So yeah, I call board meetings very regularly and say, who's in charge today? Because this day is not going the way it should be going. So we need to change the CEO for today. And I want people out there to realize it. You've got the power to change.
Absolutely.
You've got the power to be happy every day.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
And sometimes we just have better tools to make that choice a little bit easier.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Today.
It's been great. I was so nervous in the beginning. I was thinking, what's she going to ask me? What are we going to talk about?
That's amazing. But thank you for being so open and honest. And I just
It's
love
a
you
big
for who
pleasure.
you are.
Thanks so much, Vanda.
Thank
Appreciate
you. Aw,
it.
thank you. And that's a wrap.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
Bye.
Thank you for watching the World of Healing show. This podcast should be listened to as educational purposes only. This is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease. Please do not apply any of this information without first speaking to your own personal doctor. If you liked what you heard, please leave us a comment or get in touch on Facebook or Instagram at World of Healing Show. And until next time, just remember, keep smiling.